Let's move. Setting himself apart as the Republican presidential field gets more crowded, Republican Marco Rubio launching his quest for the presidency with a direct shout out to his generation and those who are younger. 43 years old, the senator from Florida, freshman senator from that state. With his family by his side, he declared himself best suited to steer the nation into what he calls the new American century. And he made an apparent jab at Hillary Clinton and possibly at his mentor, Jeb Bush, who may also be eyeing a White House run. Rubio saying too many of our leaders and their ideas are stuck in last century. Watch.
We Americans are proud of our history, but our country has always been about the future. And before us now is the opportunity to author the greatest chapter yet in the amazing story of America. But we can't do that by going back to the leaders and ideas of the past. We must change the decisions we are making by changing the people who are making them.
Meanwhile, in primetime last night on the O'Reilly Factor, syndicated columnist Charles Krauthammer said he believes Clinton can easily be defeated if Republicans nominate a certain kind of candidate.
I expect her to win the nomination, hands down. It won't be a coronation, it'll be a worship service at the Democratic Convention. But I don't expect her to win the general election.
Really?
I think it's close. I'd give her somewhere under a 50% chance. But I think if the Republicans can put up a dynamic candidate, they can. I think she is easily beaten.
Is Senator Marco Rubio or some of the others that you might see a dynamic kind of candidate that he's speaking of, do you think?
I guess we'll see in time, right? He's young. You've been in a room with him before. He's
Absolutely.
got a lot of energy. He's very well versed in all the issues. In Marco Rubio's political career, he's always been the underdog in every campaign he's run. And a lot of people advised him to stay out, to stay away, and he said, no, I'm going for it. And that's what he pretty much said yesterday, too, at the age of 43. What he specializes in, however, is meeting with small groups of people, which is perfect for Iowa, and it's perfect for New Hampshire. Because if you've been to the caucuses, you've been to the primary in New Hampshire, you know those people in Manchester, Des Moines. They want to see you in their living room. They want to see you in their church. They want to see you in your school and your cafeteria, and make sure that you sell them on your ideas. That's what he specializes in. So if he's been an underdog before, he will be again at the outset here, but we'll see.
Kennedy, I want to talk about age for a second, because when you talk about Hillary Clinton's age, you get in all sorts of sticky wickets and trouble. But people like to talk about Marco Rubio's age. Is that a double standard?
I don't think it's a double standard at all. I actually think that his youth could work against him. I mean, I don't think I'm in the mood to elect a freshman senator with, passion and ideology and youth by virtue of his age. I just don't think that that's enough either way. And I'm curious. I'm looking at this race. I'm looking at Rand Paul. I'm looking at Ted Cruz. I'm looking at Marco Rubio. And I see so many similarities.
Oh, you do?
And I know a lot of voters are thinking the same thing. You've got freshman senators. You've got Tea Partiers. You got people who are trying to, in very subtle ways, make sure they're the future of the Republican Party. But is there enough differentiating?
Even at 43, I think Rubio would argue that he's got more experience than a lot of the first-term senators that we have seen.
2009,
yeah,
right? It's been 6 years for him, and he's quick to tell you he was the House Speaker in the state legislature down in Florida. So, I mean, he has a resume and a voting record that you can, or a decision record that you can point to. Ainsley, what are your thoughts?
I think that what the voter is going to look for in a candidate is someone fresh and someone new, and I think the fact that he is young could be in his favor in this race. I think that when I heard him speak yesterday, he was passionate. He talked about his parents. He spoke in Spanish, and I don't know how he did that without crying, because he represents what the American dream is. He's the son of a bartender, the son of a maid. He says that if anyone can make it, if he can make it, anyone can make it. And that was the message. And I think we can all relate to that. I live in New York City. I'm a girl from South Carolina. My mom was a teacher. My dad put himself through college. I loved his message. I thought it was great. And just a reminder that there is hope. That's what hope is. And he said that Democrats want income inequality or equality. He said Americans have never been the type of people that drive through a nice neighborhood and say, I hate the people who live there. Americans are the type of people that say, congratulations. And guess what? We'll be joining you soon. And he might be joining them in the White House.
It's interesting, too. He said, yesterday is over. We're never going back. Very opposite, as Ainsley's pointing out, from Hillary Clinton on tape, whom we didn't see until a minute and 37 seconds into the tape as they
I thought I was watching the wrong thing. I'm glad you pointed that out.
No, it's true. And you can find him, as you said, he's good in a small crowd, whatever. Mm-hmm. She's in a van that nobody has a picture of. Mm-hmm. and was on tape. I mean, just the juxtaposition of how they both have rolled things out.
Well, I think he wasn't just making a dig at Hillary Clinton when he said yesterday, but also I think Jeb Bush. I mean, he's talking about the past, a Clinton and a Bush, and I agree with Ainsley. I mean, he connected. I mean, when he spoke about his parents' story to a first-generation American like me, I felt him being really sincere. And I think that's what's lacking. And I see it a little bit on the Republican side with some of the candidates, one in particular. I'll, hold my fire on that one. But that's Hillary Clinton's issue, is she's very insincere. Rubio, I do think his youth, I think that plays a huge role because the juxtaposition of his sincerity and his youth and his energy against Hillary Clinton's is huge. And also, if you watched his interview last night with Sean Hannity, he could not be tripped up. He was on point, he was quick, he doesn't speak in platitudes, he was energetic, and he couldn't be stumped. And Sean asked him a lot of tough questions, and I'll tell you what, he learned from the mistakes of the other candidates. He had answers. He has been practicing, and he knows where he stands. It was a very, very well-conducted interview.
I would add, too, that on the issue of immigration, where some thought that he might trip up with others in his party, he's saying, well, look, if there's one way we can get there and it might not be my way, I'm willing to consider that other thing. He's also sort of tipping his hat to ideas of bipartisanship along the way. Quick last thought.
Youth can inspire, and we saw that in 2008. And so Rubio's comes from the same makeup. But I understand there is breaking news, Harris. There is breaking news because there has been a sighting.
Of the van?
Of the van.
Oh, give it to us.
On day 3.
Wait a minute.
On day 3.
The mystery machine has been spotted?
Apparently, the van has been spotted, and it's now like flying around.
Right.
It
All right, we got it.
I believe it's
we got to bump in.